Okay, Shalom Aleichem everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful week. It is Thursday, Erev Parshat Ki Tisa, after Purim, heading towards Bein Hazmanim, another week. We have Yam V'Yam next week. Baruch Hashem, Yeshiva is ending off very, very strong. I have to tell you a quick story. I think many of you will appreciate. Then we'll get to a very short Dvar Torah, and I think a very important message. First, the story. For the first time, I've been in Israel, Baruch Hashem, for 22 years. And for the first time in those 22 years, I was in Chutz La'aretz for Purim. My brother, David, an alumnus of Mevaseret, was celebrating the bar mitzvah of his son, Moshe Netanel, this past Shabbos, Parshat Zachar, and it's his only son, my only brother. So my wife and I went to celebrate with him for Parshat Zachar, and then we had Purim in America. I will tell you, Purim in America, for me, just is not the same as Purim here in Eretz Yisrael with the Talmidim. But nevertheless, my wife was a little bit happy. She didn't have to. We usually host 25, 30 guys for our Purim Suda, and it's a Purim Suda Yeshiva Baruch. Some of you have been at that Suda. And my wife is, shall we say, a bit of a teetotaler. She is not heavily into yeshiva boys drinking, etc. And even on Purim, she's a machmir in this regard. So she was happy not to have to deal with yeshiva boys drinking, etc. on Purim. So we were in America for Purim, and my wife, we were in a hotel. My brother was celebrating the bar mitzvah in a hotel in Morristown, New Jersey. And the nature of the hotel was they had these electronic keys to get into the rooms, and therefore it was a problem for us on Shabbos. They'd arranged that a guy would go and open the doors twice a day over the course of Shabbos. We decided we're not going to do that. We're going to just leave the doors open. We put our valuables in a safe, and we'll leave our door open with the bolt open so we can get in and out as we pleased. And Shabbos was great. We had Shalosh Shudas, and then after Shabbos is over, after Havdalah, we go up to our room, and we noticed, interesting, the room was locked. We left it open, the room was locked. I had to go down and get new keys. And as I'm about to go down to get new keys, this young woman, about 21 years old, starts to approach the door to open the door of our room. We were very curious. What's going on over here? Why are you in our room? She says, it's not your room, it's my room. I said, no, that's our room. We've been there all day since Friday afternoon. That's our room. She says, no, it's not. It's my room. And she's got the key. So she opens the door, goes into the room, and as I see it, I see all our stuff in the room. I said, what is good? That is our room. She said, it is not your room. And I noticed she was a bit inebriated. A little bit drunk, this woman was. And then I said, that's our room. Let us into the room. She says, no, my friend is sleeping here. This is our room. I said, I'm going to go get security. And sure enough, I go down, get security, get the hotel. They come up. Parenthetical comment. St. Patrick's Day, I believe, is celebrated this Friday. But in Morristown, New Jersey, we were for Shabbos. They had a big St. Patrick's Day matziv on Shabbos. Now, you all know that the Irish, they like to drink. They like to drink, I think, more than Jews like to drink on Purim. The Irish like to drink, and especially on St. Patty's Day. And the hotel had a lot of spillover. There was a parade, and there was a lot of spillover of, shall we say, the Irish chevra that was in the hotel or coming into the hotel, wanting to hang out in the hotel, etc. In any event, we get into, finally security comes and they open the door and it's Goldilocks. There's Mamish Goldilocks sleeping in my wife's bed. Another woman who is totally wasted, totally trashed after this St. Patrick's Day festival, whatever's going on, totally drunk. And she literally was cursing and real not a good scene at all. These two girls just came in, they found an empty room, the door was open, they go ahead and plop themselves in the room, made themselves very much at home. So in the past, we've had some drunken boys, fell asleep in a bed or two in the middle of our house. Here we are in Chutz La'aretz, and we have these very, very non-sanua, very inappropriate people. So my wife thought she can escape Purim. She could not escape Purim, didn't happen, and ironically, she can't wait to celebrate Purim Yitz Hashem with Yeshiva Baruch next year. So that's a little bit about my story, a quick Dvar Torah, and then a message. We read in this week's parsha about the Moshe's destroying of the luchos, the Egel Hazav, and then Moshe smashes the luchos. It's interesting when you look at how the luchos are described. So described twice in the parsha. In Perek Lamed Aleph, the luchos are described in Pasuk Yud Ches as follows. Vayiten el Moshe kachalos lidaber ito b'Har Sinai. Moshe was given shnei luchos ha'idus. Luchos even ksuvim be'etzba Elokim. So two luchos, two tablets made out of stone, and they were written be'etzba Elokim, with the finger of Hashem. Nice. That's when he was given the luchos. Then in the next perek, the Torah once again has a description of the luchos. This is in Perek Lamed Beis, Pasuk Tes Vav, and this is after the episode of the Egel Azov. Moshe comes down and he sees the Jewish people building the Egel, dancing with the Egel, regaling in this Avera. V'haluchos, we are told, Maisa Elokim. This time it's not just Etzba Elokim, it's Maisa Elokim. V'hamichtav, Michtav Elokim. The writing was Mamish Michtav Elokim. Hu charos ala luchos. And then we're told, I didn't read the prior pasuk, but the prior pasuk tells us that Moshe had these Shnei Luchos Habris, Haidus, and we are told they were ksuvim mishnei evrehem. They were written on both sides, mizeh u'mizeh ksuvim, meaning there was a tremendous nace in the luchos. You could read them both ways. You could read them, they were charos, they were engraved, but they were legible fully in a very normal way from both sides of the luchos. They were inherently nace, and they were Maisa Elokim, Michtav Elokim, and once again over here, the second description, the Torah is much more elaborate. It's not just Etzba Elokim as it was before, it is Maisa Elokim with a nace. It could be written it could be read both ways, and a much more elaborate description. Why the difference? So the Sefer Shem and Tov suggests the following idea. Moshe is about to break the luchos. In other words, he knows that these luchos are about to be gone. They're about to be destroyed into millions of pieces. Sometimes when you're about to lose something, at that point you fully appreciate its value. You fully appreciate how special it is. Sometimes we take things for granted. When Moshe originally received the luchos, they were great. They were miraculous. They were Etzba Elokim, the finger of Hashem. But now that these luchos are about to be destroyed, Moshe fully, and the Torah fully wants to impress upon us how significant these luchos were, how miraculous they were, and the miracle in their nature, the fact they're not just Etzba Elokim, they're Mais Elokim, it's the Michtav Elokim, because you're about to lose it. And human nature is, when you're about to lose something, when you don't have it, you know it's going to be taken away. At that point, you tend to appreciate it in a much more profound way. We take things for granted. Things that are with us all the time, we take for granted. When something might be leaving us, so then all of a sudden, we appreciate it for all it's worth. And it's a it's the nature of the human condition, is that we don't fully appreciate the things that we have with us all the time. And then once we're about to lose them, then we start to appreciate them. I'll tell you two stories to illustrate this point. As you all know, I have the very big schus of driving Rav Asher Weiss every single Sunday night to a shir and spending time with one of the Gedolei Yisrael. About 6-7 months ago, it got word to me around the Sukkot time that Rav Asher told me that and sometimes I will point out, sometimes when I would drive, and sometimes it was difficult. Sometimes a little bit of a schlep. Sometimes I'd come home from Yeshiva 7 o'clock, eat dinner with my family for 18, 19 minutes, and then be out again to Yerushalayim. And sometimes that was challenging, and then come back at 11, 11:30 at night, and then have to start preparing shir. Not so simple. And sometimes I didn't fully appreciate it. Then around Sukkot time, Rav Asher called me and says he's not sure this shir is going to continue. It might end. And all of a sudden, I fell into depression. I fell into a depression. Because once I had the feeling I might lose this opportunity, this tremendous schus, so all of a sudden I realized how special it was, what a tremendous opportunity that I actually had. And that's the human condition, that's human nature. My parents right now are not at their healthiest. My father had a stroke about 10 years ago. He's been in a wheelchair. He's not at his healthiest. My mother also is in the hospital. She's also going through some tough health issues. Her name is Rachel Bas Freda. My father's name is Yehuda Ben Frumet. In any event, as they get older, and as I start to realize, we're not here forever. No one's here forever. You start to really appreciate how important these relationships are. So Baruch Hashem, the past couple of months, I've had this schus. Now I take my father to shul every single Friday night, every single Shabbos morning. And it's a big schus for me. It's a big schus for me to be able to do that. And my message for you, for all of us, is don't take things for granted. Don't wait till you might lose things. Don't wait till then. Take the lesson. Appreciate your parents. Appreciate your siblings. Appreciate your children. Appreciate your spouse. Appreciate your health. Appreciate the things that you have when you have them, because the human nature, the human condition is we don't have them forever, and sometimes these things are not always so smooth. So take advantage. Please appreciate. These things are so important. They're what life is all about. And Yetz Hashem, we learn these lessons